Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to close your eyes for a second and picture a lawn. A really perfect, lush green lawn in front of a beautiful house. It's uniform, it's vibrant, it's healthy. It looks like the result of years and years of care, right?
That's something out of a magazine.
Exactly. But then you walk up to it, you kneel down, you touch a blade of grass, and you realize it's plastic, it's fake. It was rolled out by a landscaping crew at 5 a.m. this morning just to make the house look good for an open house.
That is a classic image. And in the world of politics and, increasingly in corporate PR, we have a specific name for that phenomenon called astroturfing.
Astroturfing, exactly. It is the practice of masking the sponsors of a message to make it appear as though it originates from, real grassroots participants.
Right.
Basically making a corporate agenda look like a popular uprising.
It's all about faking public sentiment. Usually when we talk about this, we're talking about oil companies creating fake citizens for energy groups, or political campaigns just manufacturing support online.
It's about creating the illusion of a majority.
It is.
But here is where it gets really interesting and honestly a little terrifying. We have always assumed Hollywood was a place of drama, sure, but we thought the drama was organic.
Yeah, you assume it's real people with real conflicts.
Right. Actors hating actors, fans hating remake, directors fighting studios. We assume that's just human nature playing out on a big stage. But what if I told you that the grassroots outrage you see on Twitter or the sudden love bombing of a movie is terrible?
Yeah.
Is actually a plastic lawn rolled out by a shadowy network of consultants.
It fundamentally changes the way you interpret your entire social.
It changes everything. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the Hollywood smear machine. And our map for this journey is a fascinating transcript from the YouTube channel Clownfish TV.
Right.
They are discussing a literal bombshell report from the Hollywood Reporter.
And we need to be clear about the gravity of this. Isn't just gossip or, blind items on some blog. This is about the industrialization of reputation destruction.
Industrialism, that's a good word for it.
We're talking about allegations that major Hollywood studios and high-profile figures are hiring these shadowy network to run paid smear campaigns against critics, YouTubers, even rival celebrities.
The numbers in this report are just staggering. We aren't talking about a few $100 to buy some likes. We are talking about monthly retainers that cost more than most people make in half a year.
It's a revelation that suggests what often looks like toxic fandom or just, random internet trolls.
Yeah.
Might actually be a coordinated corporate-funded attack costing upwards of $30,000 a month.
$30,000 a month to have someone, mean tweet about your enemy? That is wild to me.
It sounds insane.
I mean, who has that kind of disposable income? Petty.
Well, it sounds absurd when you frame it as pettiness, but as we're going to go through this, you'll see it's actually a calculated investment. It's just risk management.
I still have a hard time wrapping my head around it. You hear these conspiracy theories about paid shills all the time on the internet.
All the time.
Oh, you're just paid by Disney or you're a paid bot. And I usually just roll my eyes. I think, come on, nobody's actually paying for that. But apparently,
they absolutely do. And the source material we have today from Clownfish TV, which is, dissecting that Hollywood Reporter investigation, shows us that this has moved beyond conspiracy theory into the realm of legal discovery and court documents.
Okay, so let's dive right into the heart of this. What exactly did the Hollywood Reporter find? Because the guys at Clownfish TV seem to treat this like they had just found the Rosetta Stone.
They certainly felt vindicated, and we will get to their specific experiences later because they're eye-opening. But the core revelation here is that the Hollywood Reporter, which is, let's be clear, a major trade publication, the industry paper of record, is reporting on the existence of an entire industry of digital fixers operating in Hollywood.
And this isn't just your standard, hey, please write a nice review, public relations.
No. And that's the crucial distinction we have to make early on. Traditional PR is about promotion.
Right.
Here is our movie. Please like it. Here's a press release. This new industry is about destruction. It's about tearing down your opponents. The source describes it as a clandestine smear machine.
Clandestine smear machine. It sounds like a bad Bond movie villain organization.
It really does.
But who are the targets here? Is it just other studios going after each other?
It's surprisingly broad. The source lists some really high-profile examples that show the scale of it. For instance, do you remember all that drama surrounding the movie It Ends With Us?
Oh, absolutely. The feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, it was
everywhere.
You couldn't open TikTok without seeing people dissecting their body language at premieres, analyzing every single interview clip. It felt like the whole internet turned on Blake Lively.
Exactly. And at the time, it just felt like natural viral gossip, right?
Yeah, totally.
But the report suggests that wasn't just friction between co-stars. There are allegations that firms were hired to weaponize that narrative, to push specific angles to make one side look worse than the other.
So all those TikTok detectives they might have been following breadcrumbs that were actually dropped.
That is the implication. Then you have Rebel Wilson's legal battles over her directorial debut, The Deb.
Right.
And it goes global. There's mention of an ugly internal feud in the K-pop industry involving an executive named Min Hee-jin and the entertainment giant HYB.
Wait, even K-pop? I mean, I know K-pop stans are intense. I would not want to cross them, but I always assumed that was just pure passion. You're telling me there's corporate money fueling that fire?
That's what the investigation suggests.
Yeah.
I mean, when there are billions of dollars on the line and K-pop is a multi-billion-dollar industry, manipulating fan sentiment becomes a strategic asset.
So if you can turn the fan base against an executive, you want to fire.
It makes that firing a lot easier. You create the public justification for it.
That is cynical on a level I was just not prepared for today.
And maybe the most disturbing example mentioned in our source is Alexa Nicholas, the star of Zoe 101.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into her story in detail later because it's harrowing. But before we get to the victims, I want to understand the mech. How does this machine actually work? Is it just people in a basement typing angry?
It's far, far more sophisticated than that. The source details a specific tactic, the creation of anonymous slander sites.
Slander sites. What does that look like in practice?
Imagine a website that pops up overnight. It's designed to look like a legitimate news outlet or maybe a watchdog blog.
Yeah.
It has a generic name, something like Industry Monitor or Truth in Media. But if you actually analyze the content, it exists for one purpose and one purpose only, to attack a specific target.
So it looks like news, it smells like news, but it's actually a hit piece disguised as journalism.
Precisely. And the critics and victims allege that these aren't random blogs started by some bored teenagers. They believe they're the handiwork of a small circle of operatives.
A small circle.
They use these sites to launder false information. So they post a lie on their fake news site, and then they use that link to spread the rumor on social media saying, look, there's a report about this.
It's circular reporting. You create the source and then you cite the source.
That's it. Exactly.
It's just so petty. I mean, we're talking about adults here, millionaires.
Okay.
And they're hiring people to make fake blogs to say mean things about each other.
It is petty, but it's also business. And what's so fascinating here is that major trade publications are finally acknowledging what internet creators like the host at Clownfish TV have suspected for years.
They've been shouting into the void.
For years.
Yeah.
Saying this isn't real. This is coordinated. And now they have the risk.
Okay, so we know the machine exists, but I want to know how it runs. I want to look under the hood. The source talks about a playbook. What is the technical blueprint here? Because the internet is so vast, how do you make sure people actually see these sites?
This is where we get into the digital forensics. And this is fascinating because usually these operatives try to cover their track. But in this case, the source suggests they got track. Well, they got a little slop.
How so? What did they find?
The source mentions that digital forensics experts found shared indicators connecting these disparate slander sites.
Like fingerprints.
Digital fingerprints, exactly. We're talking about commonalities in hosting providers, page formats, link structures, and even IP ranges.
So wait, you have two completely different websites attacking two different people, maybe even in different industries.
Right.
But they're hosted on the same server and built with the exact same code.
That's what the evidence suggests. It reveals a factory line of smear campaigns. It suggests one vendor is spinning these up for multiple clients. But building the site is just step one. The real weapon, the thing that makes this so dangerous, is SEO, search engine optimization.
Dark art.
The goal isn't just for these sites to exist. The goal is to dominate the search result. The source describes how these negative sites are engineered to appear as the top result on Google when you search for a target's name.
Okay, pause there. You say dominate search results, but Google is a $1 trillion algorithm. It's supposed to be smart. How does a fake blog created yesterday outrank a major celebrity official or, their IMT?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The source material points to something called link scheme and authority manipulation.
Okay.
These firms don't just build one hate site. They likely build a whole network. They might create dozens of dummy sites or buy up expired domains that already have some trust with Google and then have all those sites linked back to the smear article.
So they're tricking Google's brain.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
They are tricking Google's page rank into thinking, wow, everyone is talking about this scandal. It must be really important. They artificially inflate the domain authority of the lie until it pushes the truth right off the front page.
That is absolutely devastating. If I meet someone new or if a casting director is looking up an actor, the first thing they do is Google them.
Of course.
And if the first result is a headline saying so-and-so is a criminal, the damage is done before they even click the link.
It's over. Most people don't scroll past the top 3 results. Your reputation is set in that first glance.
So what kind of content are they actually posting? Is it just this person is rude on set, or is it worse?
No, it's much, much darker. The strategy involves mixing truth with lies to create confusion. The source explains that they will take factual legal documents, things that are public record, and mix them with just wild fabrications to lend the fake stuff credibility.
That's insidious, because if you fact-check one part and it turns out to be true, you subconsciously assume the rest must be.
Correct. It utilizes our own cognitive biases against. And the accusations are extreme. We aren't talking about bad tipper. The source mentions allegations of extortion, embezzlement, prostitution, drug dealing, and even human trafficking.
Human trafficking, that's a nuclear option. That's not a career setback. That's a life-ruining accusation.
It is. And to understand the cruelty here, we have to look at the case study of Alexa Nicholas mentioned in the source. You remember her from Zoe 101.
Yes, of course. She was a child star on Nickelodeon.
Right. And she has since become an advocate, speaking out about abuse in the industry. She's been very vocal.
Fair.
And according to the source, there was an anonymous site that popped up and accused her of being a sinister criminal force.
A sinister criminal force. That sounds like something out of a comic book.
It does, but the claims were incredibly damaging. They claimed she was blackmailing ex-boyfriends and endangering children.
And these were all false.
The source notes these claims were entirely false.
Yeah.
But think about the timing. Alexa Nicholas wasn't just mean tweet. She was in the middle of a very public, very vulnerable advocacy campaign against abuse. She was already raw.
Right.
And that is when the site appeared.
It was timed for maximum damage.
They were precision strike, and the specific language they used endangering children wasn't random. It was designed to trigger a specific flag.
What do you mean?
If she tried to get a normal job or volunteer at a school, this site was engineered to pop up and flag her as a danger. It's a digital unpersoning.
It's terrifying because how do you fight that? It's an anonymous site. Who do you sue? There's no one there.
That's the difficulty. And while the website is the anchor, the distribution network is social media. This is where the fake accounts come in.
The randos.
Randos, exactly. Accounts with 0 followers created yesterday that appears solely to attack specific individuals or push a specific narrative.
I see this all the time. You click on their profile, and it's just an egg avatar or a generic anime picture. And they've tweeted 400 times in 2 days all about one single topic.
And the source details a comprehensive communication strategy where these firms offer to, and I'm quoting here, create, monitor, manage, and optimize threads on Reddit, Discord, TikTok, and X.
Wait, they manage Reddit threads?
Yes, they aren't just posting, they're curating the entire conversation, downvoting comments they don't like, upvoting their own.
That ruins Reddit for me. The whole point of Reddit is that it's supposed to be real. It's supposed to be the one place where you get honest, unfiltered.
It's the trolling as a service model. And there's a specific text exchange quoted in the source that really gave me chills.
What did it say?
A specialist suggests to their client, when the website exists, that's when I think it'll make sense to troll company-friendly subreddits and come up with a meme.
Come up with a meme. They're literally weaponizing memes.
It's incredibly effective. Memes travel faster than fact. If they can plant a meme in a friendly subreddit, the real users, the useful idiots, as the source calls them, will pick it up and spread it for free.
So you have a paid consultant starting the fire, and then genuine fans who are totally unaware they're being manipulated are fanning the flames.
Precisely. It's an ecosystem of artificial outrage. The consultant provides the spark, but the community provides the...
Okay, we know the what and the how. Now I want to know the who. Who are these people pulling the strings? The source names... Name.
It does. And these aren't some back alley hackers living in a shipping container. These are a high-powered player. The lawsuits and reports mention a few key figures. First, there's Melissa Nathan.
And she's not some unknown, right? She's a big deal.
No, not at all. She's described as a seasoned, Britain-born crisis PR maven who worked for a Manhattan communications powerhouse. She operates the highest levels of celebrity reputation management.
And who is the muscle, the person actually building these sites?
That would be a man named Jed Wallace.
Yeah.
The source describes him as a digital fixer, and the comparison they use is incredibly evocative. They liken his work to Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan, the fictional TV troubleshooter who makes problems disappear by any means necessary. That is quite the reputation to have in a legal filing. Usually you want to compare it to like Atticus Finch, not Ray Donovan.
Indeed. And representing Nathan is Brian Freeman, described as a notable Hollywood power lawyer.
So you have the PR strategist, the digital mechanic, and the legal shield. Full service.
And this service does not come cheap. We mentioned the number earlier, but let's really break down the economics here. The source mentions a discovery email detailing a cost of $30,000 per month.
That's the routine. $30,000 a month.
To me, that sounds like an absolute fortune. But let's put our business hats on for a second. Is that actually a lot of money for a major studio?
And that's the scary part. It's pocket change. It's nothing.
Think about the scale of a Hollywood blockbuster. A studio might spend $200 million making a movie and another $100 million marketing it.
Okay.
If negative press or a scandal or a group of loud YouTubers threatens to tank the opening weekend box office by even 5%, that's millions of dollars in loss.
We're paying $30,000 to silence the bad press.
It's a bargain. It's a drop in the bucket. The ROI, the return on investment, is massive if it works. If you can discredit a critic who is influencing your audience or bury a story about a lead actor's bad behavior, you save your opening weekend. It's cheap insurance for a multi-million-dollar asset.
But surely these fixers don't admit to being smear merchants. How do they justify this? When they look in the mirror, what do they tell themselves they're doing?
They don't call it smearing. Of course not. Wallace's lawyer describes the work as crisis mitigation.
Crisis mitigation! That sounds so corporate and clean, so sterile.
It does. They claim they are helping clients who are unjustly attacked, extorted, doxxed, swatted, or scammed. Their argument is basically, our client is being bullied by the internet and we are just punching back.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
If I'm a studio executive and I've got millions on the line and someone is legitimately lying about my movie or harassing my star, don't I have a right to hire Ray Donovan? Why is crisis mitigation a dirty word? If someone is doxing you, you want protection.
That's a fair push. And legally, they do have that right. If they were just issuing takedown notices for copyright or suing for libel, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Everyone deserves a defense.
Right, that's just standard legal defense.
But the Hollywood Reporter investigation suggests they weren't using the court. They were bypassing the legal system entirely to use these extrajudicial tactics. They weren't proving the critics were lying. They were creating new lies to discredit the critics.
I see the distinction.
If your defense involves accusing a critic of human trafficking on a fake website, have you crossed the line from mitigation to malice?
I think most people would say yes. That's a pretty bright line to cross.
Exactly. It's the difference between calling the police because someone is trespassing on your lawn and paying a guy to go burn down the trespasser's house.
Right.
One is defense. The other is a crime.
This brings us to a really interesting perspective in the source material. We've talked about the big celebrities, Blake Lively, Rebel Wilson, but the source is a transcript from Clownfish TV, which is a YouTube channel covering pop culture. And their reaction to this report wasn't shock. It was, I told you so.
Yes, this section of the source is really about validation for creators. The hosts of Clownfish TV feel that this report proves what they have been experiencing for years. They've been gaslit, essentially, told that the hate they get is just random.
They mention that they've seen this happen specifically to YouTubers for a long time.
Right. And they bring up a specific chilling example called Transparency Tube. Did you catch that part of the transcript?
I did, and I looked it up afterwards. It sounded like a legitimate NGO, right? Like a watchdog group rating viewers on credibility during elections.
It had the aesthetics of a nonprofit. Clean lines, official-looking logo, a very serious tone. But when you look at the data, the Clownfish hosts argue it had one purpose: to blacklist dissenting voices.
What were they actually doing? How did it work?
According to the source, Transparency Tube, targeted channels deemed right-wing or dissenting, basically anyone criticizing the mainstream narrative on entertainment or politics. It would flag them as disinformation.
Right.
But the smoking gun, the second the election cycle ended.
What happened?
The hosts say it vanished like a fart in the wind.
Just gone. Poof.
Because it wasn't a real organization. It was a campaign. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. When the budget ran out or the election was over, the site went dark, the domain expired, the Twitter account went silent. It was a burner organization.
That is wild. It really reinforces the idea that nothing on the internet is permanent, but the damage it does can.
And the hosts also talk about the animation feud. This part was fascinating to me because it shows how weird the algorithm manipulation can get. They mention a nothing burger account.
A nothing burger account, meaning an account with no influence, no followers.
Yes, a small account with very few views or followers. This account attacked Clownfish TV. Now, normally, if you are a big YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of subscribers and a guy with 10 followers attacks you, you ignore it.
Yeah, it's noise. It gets buried in the algorithm.
Right. YouTube usually prioritizes engagement and authority.
But that's not what happened.
In this case, the hosts say this specific negative video mysteriously became the top Google search result for Clownfish TV.
That is so suspicious. How does a video with no views beat the official channel in search results? That shouldn't be possible.
That's where the SEO manipulation we discussed earlier comes in. The hosts speculate that either someone at Google was involved, which is a huge accusation, probably unlikely, or more likely, the firms behind the attack just understand backlinking so well they can force a smear to outrank official content.
It's like they can rewrite reality. If I search for Clownfish TV and they decide the first thing I see is a hit piece, they can just make that happen.
Effectively, yes. They are gaming the system to control the first impression. And the Clownfish host noticed this weirdness occurring specifically around franchise wars.
Oh, the fandom wars. He-Man, She-Ra, the internet was a complete war zone for those shows.
Exactly. The source details that whenever they criticize specific franchises like She-Ra or Masters of the Universe, accounts would pop up solely to call them literal Nazis or tie them to the alt-right.
That's a heavy label to throw around over a cartoon.
It is, but it's an effective one. It completely shuts down conversation. If you label someone a Nazi, you don't have to debate their opinion on the animation style or the writing. You just cancel them.
And the hosts explicitly state they have, and this is a quote, "no doubt in my mind it was DreamWorks," or people connected to them behind attacks, specifically regarding their coverage of animated shows.
That is a massive allegation to make. A major studio paying to call YouTubers Nazis.
It sounds crazy when you say it out loud, but given everything else we've just learned about $30,000 monthly retainers and digital fixers, is it that far-fetched anymore?
It's speculation on their part, for sure,
Yeah.
but it aligns with the broader findings of the Hollywood Report. If a studio is protecting a billion-dollar IP, a YouTuber is trashing it, are they crisis mitigating by attacking the YouTube? In this new world, that might just be considered a marketing expense.
And the way they do it, the source talks about the grass skies.
This goes right back to the Astroturfing concept we started with. The accounts have a thumbprint. They look like a random angry person, but their activity is calculated. They repost specific narratives in lockstep.
It's synchronized swimming, but for hate.
A great way to put it. And this leads to the useful idiot theory we touched on earlier. The marketing firm stir the pot, they get the ball rolling,
Right.
then real, genuine, crazy people, as the source puts it, lash on and do the rest of the work.
So the studio doesn't have to pay for the whole war, they just pay to start it.
Exactly. They light the match, and the toxic fandom provides the fuel. It's incredibly efficient from a business standpoint.
I want to pivot to the technology bus because there was a point in the source that really scared me. It's about AI. And we talk about AI all the time, but this specific angle, the feedback loop, is something I hadn't even considered.
This is what I call the technology of truth decay.
Truth decay, I like that. Or I hate it, but it's catchy. Explain what you mean by that.
The source brings up a critical insight regarding artificial intelligence. We know that Google AI, ChatGPT, all these other models are being trained on data scraped from the internet. And where is the biggest repository of human conversation online?
Reddit, Twitter, the places where people argue and talk.
Exactly. Reddit is a goldmine for human conversation data. But if we just learn that Reddit is filled with paid smear campaigns, bot comments, and manufactured consensus,
then the AI is learning lies.
the source argues that if you train an AI that the truth is a lie, it's going to report the lie as the truth.
Okay, so let's walk through this. Let's say there's a smear campaign against an actor saying they kicked dog. The bots flood Reddit saying, he kicks dogs, I saw him kick a dog, everyone knows he kicks dogs.
Right.
The AI reads all of that. Then I asked Chat, does this actor kick dogs?
And ChatGPT says, yes, there are numerous reports and online discussions indicating that he kicks dogs.
And that solidifies the smear permanently. It enters the digital record as a fact.
It becomes a fact because the AI says it, and the AI says it because the bot said it, and the bot said it because a consultant was paid $30,000.
It's a completely closed loop of fabrication.
And it's incredibly difficult to break. Once it's in the large language model's data set, it's effectively truth. You can't just delete a memory from an AI that easily.
The source also mentions Rotten Tomatoes. We hear about review bombing all the time. Angry fans tanking a score because they hate a casting choice. But the source claims it goes the other way, too.
Yes, the manipulation of review scores isn't just about negativity. It's also about artificial boosting. The hosts claim they tracked boosted posts back to studios, specifically mentioning Disney.
Meaning studios might be using these firms to post thousands of fake positive reviews.
Or using reputable news outlets, as they put it, to smear critics who give bad reviews. The goal is to control the aggregate score. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is currency. Sure. If it's too low, it looks like a flop. If you can inject 5,000 fake positive reviews or discredit the negative reviewers as trolls, you save the perception of the movie.
It's all just fake. The whole thing. It makes me feel like I'm living in the Truman Show.
That is the Truman Show effect. That's the real implication for everyone listening right now.
Let's talk about that, because this isn't just about movie stars and YouTubers. This affects how we all perceive reality.
It absolutely does. You have to realize that much of the drama and the discourse you see online, on Reddit, on Twitter, on YouTube, might be entirely manufactured from start to finish.
We spend so much energy getting angry at things online. Can you believe what they said? Did you see this controversy? And now I'm thinking, was I supposed to see it? Was it served to me by a consultant?
Verification is dead. That's the hard truth the source is getting at. If legal documents can be mixed with lies on a website that looks real,
right?
And search results are rigged to show you that site first, and then the AI confirms it, how does the average person know what is true?
You can't expect everyone to be a digital forensic expert. I don't know how to check IP ranges. I don't have time for that.
No, of course not. And that means we're all susceptible to manipulation. But there is a darker side to this escalation mentioned in the source. It's not just about confusion. It's about life and death.
The Alexa Nicholas story again?
Yes, the source mentions a tragic element, the fear of self-harm. Alexa Nicholas expressed fear that another target of these campaigns, a woman named Kate Whitmore who passed away, might have been driven to self-harm by similar smear campaigns.
That just stops you in your tracks. We think of internet drama as harmless noise, just pixels on a screen. But if you are the target and millions of people are being told you are a monster and you can't make it stop,
it raises the stakes completely. This isn't just PR. It's psychological warfare. And the source notes that Alexa Nicholas herself feared she might harm herself because of the immense pressure.
Wow.
These fixers aren't just messing with algorithms. They're messing with human lives. They're pushing people to the brink of suicide to protect a movie release or a corporate executive's reputation.
It's heavy. It's really heavy. But it's so important that we know what's happening.
Absolutely. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And that is why the Hollywood Reporter story is so important. It exposes the wires.
So let's try and recap. What have we learned today? What are the big takeaways?
We've learned that the shadowy network is real. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a service. It's expensive, 30 grand a month, and it is being used by major Hollywood players to crush dissent and manipulate public opinion.
We've learned that they use these incredibly sophisticated tactics, smear sites, SEO rigging, backlinking schemes, and fake social media.
And we've learned that the line between crisis PR and targeted harassment has been completely obliterated. It's gone.
And most frighteningly, we've learned that our own reality, what we see on Google, what AI tells, being warped by this money.
It's a sobering realization. The internet is not a public square, it's a battlefield. And most of us are unarmed civilians caught in the crossfire.
So here is the provocative thought I want to leave you with today. The source said something the people that do these things know. Take this and you post it over here, it's going to give it.
They understand the mechanics of belief. They know how to make a lie feel true.
Exactly. So the next time you see a viral hate campaign against a celebrity or a massive wave of identical praise for a corporate product that looks a little too perfect, ask yourself a question.
Are you looking at genuine human emotion, or are you looking at a receipt for services rendered?
That is the question. And honestly, I don't think I'll ever look at a Twitter trend.
Nor should you. Stay skeptical.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, stay critical, and don't believe everything you scroll past. We'll see you next time.